Oh golly, you scared the hell out of me. And check it out, it's real this time. You know, around this time of year, the weather outside becomes considerably frightful. And nothing makes me think more of winter or even the holidays than snow. And it would just so happen that my favorite type of level setting is snow levels.
So with that, it's time to make a sequel to a video that came out 2 years ago. This is 5 more snow levels that don't suck.
Crash Bandicoot!
When you think of snow levels in these games, you probably remember Crash 2 with its various flurried landscapes, or maybe even Dingodile's boss fight in Warped. Point being, these games have a good track record with snow levels. In fact, you might even say that they don't suck. But I'd like to step away from the Naughty Dog days. No, I'm not going that far.
Now allow me to break out the old timeline. Not that one, not that one, not that one, definitely not that one. That one right there.
Anyways, we all know my feelings towards this game, and it's... But I've opened that can of worms 2 times too many, and I don't want to make a third video talking about it. That being said, there's a few key moments here that feel like the Crash we all know and love, but what sucks is that they're both found in the first warp room. Man, like that's just unfortunate. Wizards and Lizards and Arctic Antics, the latter of which is number 5 here. And I know exactly what you're thinking. The level's boring, uninspired, and wasn't exactly Crash's triumphant introduction to the next generation of consoles. But all things considered, it isn't the worst snow level ever, and it's probably the least excruciating experience in the whole game. You've got the penguins running around doing merry jigs, a whole bunch of idiots skiing that only exist to be annoying, and even woolly mammoths. That's no small feat, especially considering they've been extinct for millions of years. Was one of Cortex's evil plans to create his own Jurassic Park based around the Ice Age? I've always appreciated the atmosphere of this level. There's tiny houses sprinkled around, at one point you go into the world's largest igloo, and you can even do this. It's probably the funniest, yet simultaneously creepiest thing I've ever laid eyes upon. Just the image of Crash sexually crawling towards the camera haunts me deeply. Oh my god. Mario Kart games are so hectic.
Oh! This is gonna be close!
Could I do it? Nope, I can't.
Oh! I win! Yes!
Like Zoinks, Scoob. Like Zoinks, I flew off.
I just want to race in a snow level. With snowmen. With snow. I just want to race in a snow level with snowmen. With snow. So it's a little bit redundant. Like, okay, if there's snowmen, there's definitely snow. If it's snow level, there's snow. You know what I mean?
Fortunately, there's a lot of snow levels in these games, and if you were anything unlike me, a sane person, you'd probably notice that the amount is pretty ridiculous, actually. You've got the Vanilla Lake levels, countless renditions of Sherbet Land, DK Pass, DK Snowboard Cross, but Mario Kart Wii sucks, so nobody gives a shit, Rosalina's Ice World, and Mount Wario. Oh yeah, I also forgot to mention the hands-down best one, Frappe Snowland. It's a fairly basic course, but I'm gonna say my piece on it anyway, or else this list would be pretty pointless. Well, even more pointless than it already is. I've always adored the calming music of this track. It goes hand in hand with the snow-capped course. Whoever wins, wins. It's all good. Unless it's Peach. Betch. I haven't even mentioned the snowmen that explode upon contact, or either of the huge sculptures. There's just a ton of stuff here that I've always loved, like the small flurries falling from the sky. This is, and always will be, my favorite snow level in Mario Kart. Now I'm breaking out the big guns, and it's fantastic. In reality, I could just tell you, hey, you see that level where Spyro's running around fighting ninjas? That's a phenomenal snow level. And you'd probably agree with me, and then comment on how beautiful the frozen over lake is.
But hey, it's Christmas time, and I'm gonna be as legitimate as I can, and... Did you notice that that is actual eggnog? Because it's not. It's ketchup. That's some good nog.
But, yeah, oh, it's a good stretch. I know I already talked about Icy Peak in the first snow levels that don't suck video, and suffice to say, it's a good time. There's the really fun egg thief pursuit, the overall atmosphere is fantastic, and let's not forget the music. So I got to thinking, what snow level from any of the other Spyro games could possibly rival the brilliance of Icy Peak? Well, I'm gonna be forward and say that it isn't Crystal Glacier. God bless, but it's just not that fun of an experience having to thaw out frozen cavemen and fly through the shitty spider-infested cave. There's a really cute cat though. So that leaves us with the first game, which a lot of people think is a weak link, but upon looking back on it, I like it a lot more than I used to. Anyway, the Magic Crafter's homeworld is the premier location for snowy experiences. Case in point, Wizard Peak. Now, I think one of the big reasons I enjoy this level so much is because it marks the point in the game where your hand stops being held. Up until now, things were laid out, and sure, you might miss a few gems or maybe even a dragon due to not searching around enough, but this is where the game cuts off its connection with you and totally tells you just get the hell out of my house! Even in high caves, which just so happens to be the level before this one, you're still being guided along a path, if you will. It doesn't matter if you fall off of a ledge because you know there will be fairies waiting to catch you. But in Wizard Peak, you're left to your own wits as soon as the level starts since you're immediately presented with a fork in the road. To make things tougher, if it's your first time playing, you're not even gonna know that there's an alternate path to the left, which is pretty much essential for completing not only the level, but the game overall. That's not even the half of it, since this is also home to the second toughest supercharge in the game. I know he's a dumbass and all, but it probably took DSP 20 tries to do it. All of that on top of the fact that this is where things start being hidden in places you'd never think to look makes this level legendary. But I'm not some sadistic bastard, though you could argue against that seeing as Treetops is my favorite level and all. There's more reasons I like this level that don't have to do with it being the part of the game where Spyro looks at you and says,
Hey bitch, this ain't no kiddie shit anymore.
The music here is fantastic, and it's easily one of the most memorable tracks from the game, which is no small feat since this is probably one of the best OSTs out there. In fact, I know I'm not the only person that really likes it, since someone at Nickelodeon obviously played the game and then had Copeland the God compose the music for the intro to The Amanda Show. That's actually kind of creepy for some reason though. Court dismissed, bring in the dancing lobsters. Oh yeah! It's time for the festivities to be brought out because really, how can you make a Christmas themed list about snow levels without having a snowy Christmas level? It's a good thing Gex 3 exists because I don't know if I'd be able to without it. Much like Wrath of Cortex, Gex 3's first level sees you in a winter wonderland, but this time it's actually above average. Say what you want about Gex and him never keeping his mouth shut, but I've done it before so I'll do it again, just for you. Where was I? Oh yes, Totally Scrooged is an awesome level. There's tons of douchey elves to whack with your tail, presents to smash, and you can even snowboard. You know, the levels in the Gex games are never devoid of fun, and this is no exception. The atmosphere is all there with the mishmash of Christmas classics playing in the background which give off a spirit of mischief. It's very in line with something like The Grinch. I could easily see Gex stealing presents from people like it's some sort of prank. You get to fight a robotic Santa that lobs presents your way, and there's even a dinosaur. I'd just like to add that the detail of graffiti gets across the point that something's wrong here. Instead of locking arms and singing Welcome Christmas, some mischievous bastard set aside time to urinate this into the snow. How jolly. When I set out to put this list together, I had one thing in mind. Pick what is among the best snow levels in video games for the #1 spot. And I think you guys are gonna like what I chose. I hope so. This is a predominantly Sony channel. Granted, there's a few Nintendo people in here. So, what if I told you that #1 didn't come from a Nintendo or a Sony game? Halo Combat Evolved is a favorite of mine. It was Microsoft's means of getting their pirate ship known as the Xbox afloat in the sea of consoles, and it definitely shows. To avoid redundancy and to possibly save whatever thoughts I have for a video I might make one day on the game itself, I'll just say that the title paved the way for FPS games to be played on home consoles without having a horrible control scheme. Also, the game's epic, hence why Level 5, Assault on the Control Room, takes the #1 spot. The cold, frigid exterior location perfectly contrasts the interior environments, which are filled with the likes of machinery and metal. The wintry land represents tranquility, while the machinery represents life devoid of being. And what more of an ironic location could there be to engage in all-out warfare with Covenant soldiers than that of a peaceful snowscape? The natural beauty combined with the all-out chaos is artistically beautiful, though the two couldn't be any more opposite. The mission's memorable, it's tough, and it marks the turning point in the game when you realize that things go a lot deeper than they appear to. There's also the added fact that one of my funniest memories with a friend happened during our run of it.
Do you not realize how much that Covenant Banshee cost? And you just totaled it.
Fucking Sentinels.
The Sentinels can go eat a cock.
They're chodes.
Yeah, I know. They can all go eat a dick collectively. Like at once. Like
They eat dick for dinner.
2 helpings of it every day.
Every day, a healthy boy.
Jesus.
Ooh.
Jesus. They took out this
Healthy
Banshee.
boy.
Oh my god. Oh! Get out of there. Oh my god. Just run. Oh, what are you doing? Aaron, run. You can do it with less feminine noises. You did it.
Yeah.
You did it.
And that is why Assault on the Control Room is the #1 snow level among these snow levels that don't suck. At least for this list.
And I mean that because there's a lot of snow levels out there, and 2 lists simply won't cut it. That being said, I hope you all enjoyed and have happy holidays all around. And you know what? Do yourself a solid and check out my original snow levels that don't suck video, because I'll tell you right now, the difference between then and now is jarring. Anyways, I'm just gonna drink some more eggnog. And by eggnog, I mean ketchup. That's some good shit.